Hi everyone, how's it going? Danganronpa V3 is the last main game in the Danganronpa series. Released in 2017, it was highly anticipated due to the large time gap between its release and the release of the previous mainline game Danganronpa 2. However, it received a mixed reaction and is regarded as one of the weakest games in the series, as the way it tries to wrap up the entire Danganronpa storyline left fans angry, confused, and very unsatisfied. I know that I personally really disliked the ending, as it felt like instead of coming up with a satisfying conclusion to the narrative they had been developing, they threw it all away for an easy wrap-up. They decided to pull the "it was all fate" card instead of committing to the post-apocalyptic world they had created. Like, the only thing less committed than the Danganronpa writers is my dad. But if you squint really hard, there is a silver lining. There are a couple of things I wanted to talk about today, which I believe make Danganronpa V3 good, or even better than the previous installments of the series. I've mentioned this before, but the V3 cast is the best cast of characters in the whole franchise. There is such a variety of interesting and quirky characters. There's not a single character in V3 I dislike. Not to mention the designs are very well crafted and match the characters' personalities perfectly. I also love how crazy they got with their personality traits. You've got Gonta, who was raised by reptilians, Angie the cult leader, Maki, who was forced to kill from a young age, and yes, even Kokichi's lying added an interesting twist to the game. I think this extra level of detail puts them above other characters in the series, who, for the most part, weren't as defined as the V3 gang. Speaking of characters, I really like how in V3 you naturally make friends with Kaito and Maki. In previous games, you had Kirigiri and Chiaki, who were sort of a sidekick throughout the game. However, it always felt like there was a little bit of distance between them and you. But in V3, Kaito actually goes out of his way to invite you and Maki to hang out. The friendship builds very organically and creates a really strong bond between the three of them for the entire game. I also really like that by the end of the game, the remaining survivors all have a strong sense of trust between them, which made Samuki's reveal at the end all the more painful. The relationships that were built between the entire cast were well paced and had reasons to be there, like Himiko's fear of death leading her towards Angie, and Miyu being the ultimate eventer meant that she naturally drifted towards Kibo. I love a good character motivation. I also really love the introduction of the Ultimate Labs. I think this was a good idea to implement, otherwise it would have been too similar to Danganronpa 1 in the progression of areas to explore. The Ultimate Labs bring in unique settings for murders to take place, hangouts to happen, and after every trial it was one of the things I looked forward to the most. They did kinda give away who would be involved in each case though, as 3 new labs would be unlocked each chapter, and the only 2 characters whose labs were opened after they died were Rantaro's and Kokichi's, both of which held major story moments within. I got so excited when Shuichi's lab was unlocked. It's like a reward. Visually, this game looks stunning. I love the crisp, futuristic UI design, and the art is an elevated version of the classic Danganronpa style. You can never have too many clothing folds. The futuristic vibes took me a while to get used to, but I ended up falling in love with the abandoned building meets future tech aesthetic they were going for. I also think they got the feeling of dread just right. The huge outer walls of the arena really made you feel trapped. And because the arena was so big, it left you wondering what kind of rich organization could be behind it all. I also loved the execution animations. Some of my favorite executions are in V3, as they didn't hold back from making them a bit darker and creepier, which I felt the executions in Danganronpa 2 held back on. I could have gone without seeing Monophony give birth though. Yeah. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the murder cases. They got very creative in V3, and while I didn't fully enjoy the logic behind most of them, I respect what they were trying to do. One thing I'll always give to Danganronpa is its ability to keep me on the edge of my seat because you never know what's gonna happen next. Of course, we have to talk about the bait and switch of the main characters in the first trial. We start the game as Kaede, but throughout the first chapter, unless the player has a keen eye, we don't realize until it's too late that Kaede was setting up a trap to kill the mastermind. Despite them kinda missing the mark with how it was set up, I did enjoy the reveal of Kaede being the Blackened and the switch to Shuichi's POV. Some other deaths I thought were interesting were Tenko's death, where she got killed right in front of everyone, and the whole plot to Trial 5, where you don't know whether Kaito or Kokichi is dead. My emotions were being tugged around with that one. I truly couldn't guess who the culprit was or how the trial would end. Rip Kaito. And that's about it. What are your favorite things from V3? And who's your favorite V3 character? Let me know in the comments below. I also wanted to thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. Welcome everyone. I mainly talk about Danganronpa and fandom-related topics, so be sure to subscribe and join in on the fun. We also just unlocked memberships. So for $2 a month, you can unlock member-only live streams, polls, behind-the-scenes posts, and help support me as a full-time artist and YouTuber. I'm so grateful that you guys enjoy my videos. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!